What are those YouTubers vocabulary today? We got 10 mind-blowing facts about the solar system. Let's get
10
it.
mind-blowing
Education
facts
cap
about the
in
solar
the building.
system.
What was that?
Number 10.
Okay.
The solar system is really big. In 1977, NASA launched the Voyager.
Bitch, I knew that.
The first spacecraft, Voyager 1, became the first human-made object to ever enter interstellar space. It was 2012. This is amazing. But how long was the trip?
Wait, so it took till 2012 for us to even send something to space?
Voyager 1 had to first cross the planets and then the so-called heliopause.
But then how do we send somebody to the moon before then? If we didn't even send like an
This is
object.
the strange name given to the boundary beyond which most of the sun's ejected particles and magnetic fields dissipate. In order to reach the heliopause, Voyager had to travel for 121 astronomical units, or 11.18 billion miles. This huge
Damn.
distance is nothing compared to the overall size of the solar system. In fact, if we define it as the sun and everything that primarily orbits the sun, Voyager 1 will remain within the confines of the solar system until it emerges from the Oort cloud in another 14,000 to 28,000
Oh, we're gonna be gone by then.
You, your children, and your grandchildren will long be dead.
Damn.
Number 9. Uranus spins sideways.
My what?
I'm sure you already know Uranus is basically a cute ball. This is what we have always been taught in class. But this gas giant hides a secret. It's basically a weird planet. First, the planet
No, say it's my
originates
ass.
outside, appearing to roll around the sun like a ball. Scientists don't know the actual reason for this strange behavior, but the most likely explanation for the planet's unusual orientation, which is about 90 degrees sideways compared to the other planets, is that it underwent some sort of titanic collision.
What the fuck? That shit scared me.
Imagine a huge object impacting with Uranus and forever changing its tilt.
Hey, yo, he's doing this shit on purpose. He just said he wants the large object to hit my anus.
And because of this extreme tilt, Uranus has what NASA thinks to be the most extreme seasons in the solar system. First of all, Uranus's year is the equivalent of 84 Earth years.
I don't understand how that works. Like, isn't a year regardless? Like 365 days?
Sun shines directly over
How
the
can it be
North
different?
or South Pole. Let's suppose you were living on the North Pole of this blue and weird planet.
All right.
For more than 20 Earth years, you would never see the sun at all.
Damn.
Only your friend on the other pole would be able to see our star. When this happens, one hemisphere is always colder than the other.
You don't fucking say.
Number 8. The moon has no atmosphere.
Stu finna piss me off. Like, you telling me shit I
It has
know.
an atmosphere that protects us from all kinds of bad radiation. But not all objects in the solar system are this lucky. For instance, our splendid moon has no atmosphere.
So the real question
No
is,
breeze can ever blow
how did somebody walk on the moon if there was no atmosphere?
over the surface of our beautiful
Think
satellite.
smarter.
This has very interesting consequences. Imagine for a second living on the moon and you place a light ball on its surface.
Okay.
There will be nothing apart from you or impacts with asteroids and meteorites to remove the ball from its position. This makes the moon a sort of time capsule. Objects that land on it can sit there undisturbed for millions and millions of years. For instance, when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked on the moon during the Apollo 11 mission, they left footprints on the surface.
How do you know
These
that?
signatures will just sit there unless an impact destroys them. Asteroids basically act as erasers, and they erase precious traces of past events that happen on the surface of the moon. Number 7. The sun
Okay.
contains 99.8% of all mass in the solar system.
So you tell me in all the space, the sun is all of it?
Compared to the Earth, the sun is enormous. The radius of the Earth is something like...
How is that possible? The sun's a medium-sized star, though.
kilometers long, while the radius of the sun is around 0.7 million kilometers. But this is not the only difference. Our majestic star weighs about 333,000 times as much as Earth.
Damn.
The sun is so large that over 1 million Earth spheres could fit inside of it. It is very
I'll be
big,
lifting that up by the summertime.
but if you think about it, the
Give
sun
me
is
in front of some
actually an
hoes. I'm
average
picking the
star
sun
in the
up.
universe.
Word of bro.
There are a lot of stars way bigger and heavier than the sun.
Yep. Fun fact: the sun is only a medium-sized star. If you didn't know.
In terms of sheer physical size, the star UY Scuti is considered one of the biggest known. It's only 30 times the sun's mass, but has a radius more than 17.
Why do we get a regular ass name like the sun, but the rest of these guys UY Scooty and then PY Youngin? Like,
Number 6. There are probably more than 200 moons in the solar system. Yes, you got it right. 200 is the
how is that
number of
possible?
moons in the solar system. And there might be actually more. Scientists are always discovering more moons in the solar system and arguing over whether Saturn or Jupiter has more moons. Moons, also known as natural satellites, orbit planets and asteroids in our solar system. Most of the major planets, all except Mercury and Venus, have moons.
What?
Some other dwarf planets, as well as many asteroids, also have.
So we're not the only ones with moons?
Saturn and Jupiter have the most.
Like we were
moons,
special.
with dozens orbiting each of the two giant planets.
What?
The study of moons in our solar system has become really important to understand the birth of life as we know it. For example, we know that water is a key ingredient for life.
Right?
Well, guess what?
What?
Scientists think there's a lot of water on both Saturn's and Jupiter's moons. Number 5. There's a
How is there water on the moon?
System. What scientists recently discovered is that there's a tiny object orbiting the sun out in a region of space called the Kuiper Belt.
Seriously?
It has the shape of a snowman. Its name is
Shoot like two big ass balls.
You can find the Kuiper Belt well beyond the orbit of Neptune. And since our snowman
What if
lines
one day
up
literally the orbit just stopped orbiting? Like, is we just gonna fly away?
in that region,
Y'all don't be thinking about stuff like that?
Trans-Neptunian object. Objects in the Kuiper Belt are mostly composed of ice, and Ultima Thule is no exception. Its orbit
Like, I'm talking to you right there. You right there watching me on that phone. You worry about that bitch that won't text you back, and we literally in a meaningless spinning ball in some random big black universe that don't matter in 50 to 80 years when you die.
Earth years long.
Think about
And
it.
It is so far that it is able to receive only a very tiny fraction of sunlight. Planetary scientists think this object might be the key to understanding planetary formation in our solar system. The distant orbits preserve this kind of object in very cold temperatures, and then also preserve scientific information about what conditions were like.
Oh, so our solar system don't even really have a moon?
5 billion years ago, when the sun and planets were forming.
Oh.
How did we get to know the size and shape of such a small object? We launched the New Horizons mission. This spacecraft had to fly by this special object in the Kuiper Belt. But in order to do so, scientists programmed ground-based observations of this little world as it occulted a more distant set of stars during its orbit. These observations gave New Horizons a
Why is the moon red?
idea of the
Y'all
size
seen
and
that?
shape of
They're trying
our
to tell you something. See, they're trying to sneak in little info that they won't even tell you.
2015, New Horizons flyby data began streaming back to Earth and continued until late 2020. Based on data and images taken at Ultima Thule, planetary scientists realized it was the first ever studied contact binary object in the Kuiper Belt.
Hey, yo.
It's 31 kilometers long and has two lobes joined to form a collar around one part of the object.
It looked like a deformed baby.
Ultima and Thule, respectively, for the small and large components. These two pieces give Ultima Thule the shape of a snowman. If you're still here, it means you're really enjoying the video. Why don't you subscribe now and press the bell notification?
No thanks.
Number 4. Pluto isn't the only dwarf planet in our solar system.
What?
The first time you may have heard the term dwarf planet was when Pluto got demoted to one in 2006.
That's when I was born.
How many planets are there in our solar system?
9.
Well, we have Ceres, Makemake, Haumea, and Eris. These
What?
were also the only 5 that we knew about up until
Never
very
heard of that.
recently. Recently, though, a new dwarf planet has been discovered, which is officially called 2015 TG387.
So what's up with these regular ass names and then you name it like Elon Musk named his kid?
Given the nickname, the Goblin.
Almost. That's
The size of the goblin
That's a little bit of aura.
assumed albedo, which is basically the reflectivity of an object. If it is a
So it's not even
object,
real?
then it would also have to be larger. A higher albedo would demand that it be smaller. The faint object has a visual magnitude of 24.64, comparable to the visual magnitudes of Pluto's smaller moons. It's really dim. It was initially estimated to be 190 miles in diameter, though more precise observations suggested a smaller diameter of 140 miles, corresponding to a higher albedo of 0.21.
So if you didn't know, the albedo was 0 to 1 because the Dunai node isn't really gonna add up to the exchange of the number to make sure that the smaller moons orbit around the blood moon to get the dwarf planet to become a regular planet. So it really doesn't even matter in the grand scheme of things.
Jupiter's Great Red Spot is shrinking.
What?
We all knew Jupiter is the solar system's largest planet.
Yep.
But did you know it also hosts the solar system's largest storm?
I didn't know that. I thought Earth did.
It's known as the Great Red Spot, and astronomers have been observing it in telescopes since the 1600s. Recent studies from modern instruments like NASA's Juno probe showed how the storm is hundreds of miles tall. What's actually new is that this spot is now getting smaller. The storm has been raging for
they're making way for me.
and maybe now it's coming to an end. The shrinkage is currently being monitored in professional telescopes and also by amateurs. We just have to wait and see.
Yep.
Number 2.
Fun fact: I'm going
Mars
to
is the tallest mountain
I'm going to Jupiter by 2028.
in the
No
solar
cap.
system. The tallest mountain on Earth is
Mount Everest. I knew that.
9,031.69 feet high. But what if I told you this is nothing compared to the tallest solar system mountain?
I call you a fucking
If
liar.
you went to Mars, you would see this enormous volcano called Olympus Mons.
What?
It is the largest Mars volcano, but it is also the solar system's
My question
tallest
is,
mountain.
how do you know that? You ain't never been there.
It's 15.5 miles tall.
What, bro? You dead could be lying to me, and I'd have to believe you.
Miles in diameter, it covers about the same amount of land as the state of Arizona.
Damn.
Olympus Mons is
Trash
located
ass
near
state.
3 other volcanoes known as the Tharsis Montes. The volcanoes in this area are all 10 to 100 times bigger than Earth's largest volcanoes. They're huge. But how can these volcanoes get this big? Well, that's because, unlike on Earth, there's no plate tectonics on Mars that can drag a volcano away from its hotspot. They just sit in one volcanic
The baby, you
magma
my hot spot. We connect. Yeah, my bad.
and grow bigger and bigger. Number 1. The sun lies about 8 kiloparsecs away from the galactic center.
What?
The solar system
That means it's not even that
is
far.
located about 25,000 light years, or 8 kiloparsecs to the galactic center.
Oh.
So basically,
What's the galactic
think of the
spinner-
Milky Way
center?
as a big record. We would be the spot that's roughly halfway between the center and the edge.
How's that
Astronomers
work?
think the Milky Way is a spiral galaxy with 2 major spiral arms, called the Perseus arm and the Scutum Centaurus arm. There are
This should be
also
freaking me
several
out, dude.
arms and spurs.
What is in a big
However,
black thing
the
of
solar
nothing?
system is located in a region between the 2 arms called the Orion Cygnus arm. This arm extends for 3,500 light years across and is 10,000 light years in length. It takes the sun 250 million years to complete one rotation around the Milky Way. This is what is known as a galactic year or cosmic year. If you think about it, the last time the solar system was in this position in the Milky Way, there were still dinosaurs on Earth.
Allegedly.
This is honestly mind-blowing, don't you think?
No.
That's all for this video. What's your favorite fact about the solar system? Let us know in the comments below.
Probably Jupiter or Mercury. Let me know you guys' favorite fact about the sun and the matter and all that in the thing below. We out.